Inside Antigua and Barbuda, the carnival is not just a festival but a deep expression of the country's history, identity, and resilience, one that transforms these twin islands into a living stage of sound, color, and emotion. Every year between late July and early August, the celebration builds over weeks of preparation that reach their peak during the official carnival period, which usually lasts about 10 days. During this time, the air feels different not because of fantasy or exaggeration, but because every street, every voice, and every instrument seems connected by a shared rhythm of purpose. This carnival began in the mid-20th century as a celebration of emancipation and freedom, evolving over time into what locals call the greatest summer festival. Visitors may see dance and costumes, but locals feel pride, remembering how this event grew from struggle into cultural ownership. The anticipation starts long before the first parade, with months of planning that pull together musicians, designers, dancers, and entire neighborhoods. Calypso tents echo late into the night as artists compete with lyrics that mix humor, reflection, and social commentary, while pan yards become places where steel pan bands rehearse endlessly, chasing the cleanest tone and the tightest rhythm. Mars camps turn into creative hubs where costume makers cut, sew, and glue countless feathers, sequins, and fabrics, building outfits that are not merely decorative but symbolic of stories, identity, and freedom. For visitors, this behind-the-scenes preparation offers an honest view of how seriously Antiguans and Barbudans take their carnival. It is not an act performed for outsiders, but a celebration sustained by pride and heritage. When Carnival officially begins, the energy becomes continuous, moving from one event to another without pause. The opening parade introduces the participating troops, giving a glimpse of the diversity of designs and styles that will later fill the streets. Juvert morning follows, that early, unfiltered, pre-dawn celebration where people dance through the streets covered in mud, paint, or powder, not for performance but for release and togetherness. There is no hierarchy in Juvert. Locals, visitors, young, old, all move as one. The sound systems are raw and loud, the roads packed, and the sunrise arrives as if it were part of the music itself. This is the most human and genuine part of Carnival, one that shows the connection between freedom and expression better than words ever could. As the week unfolds, each day brings a new aspect of Antigua and Barbuda's creative strength. The Queen of Carnival show displays not only beauty but confidence and eloquence, as contestants represent their communities and heritage with pride. The Calypso Monarch and Soca Monarch competitions bring unmatched energy, where singers command thousands of people with rhythms that tell stories of joy, humor, and everyday life. For visitors, this is more than entertainment. It is a living archive of Caribbean identity, carried forward through voices and drums rather than textbooks. The sound of steel pan, born from historical ingenuity, still anchors much of the music, reminding everyone how Caribbean art emerged from creativity born under limitation. The final days are when the parade takes full command of St. John's, Antigua's capital, and the energy reaches its peak. The streets become an endless moving wave of color, heat, and rhythm. As troops dance through the city in costumes so detailed that they seem to move like sculptures. Yet even in this spectacle, there is structure and discipline. The organizers ensure the flow continues smoothly, police officers direct crowds respectfully, and local vendors set up stands along the route selling food, drinks, and souvenirs. For visitors, it's an intense but organized experience, one that balances chaos with coordination. Beneath the noise and movement lies a powerful reminder that the carnival belongs to the people. It's their annual statement of endurance and joy. The food that accompanies the festival is a story in itself. Street corners fill with the aroma of grilled jerk chicken, salt fish and ducana, pepper pot, and roti, served alongside sweet drinks and local rum punches. Eating during Carnival is not simply about satisfying hunger, it's about being part of the shared culture that feeds everyone equally. Locals often invite strangers to taste, talk, and relax, an act of openness that shows the easy warmth of Antiguan and Barbudan society. Food vendors, many of whom depend on the festival for income, work tirelessly, moving between cooking, serving, and joining the dance. Every plate carries a piece of the island's identity. Behind the spectacle lies the quieter story of organization and effort. The government, private sponsors, and community volunteers work for months to manage logistics, safety, sanitation, and tourism arrangements. Temporary structures rise for stages, barricades, and stalls, while hotel staff prepare for a surge of visitors arriving from around the Caribbean, North America, and Europe. There's a shared understanding that while Carnival celebrates freedom, it also drives the local economy. Flights sell out early, guest houses fill up, and artisans see their crafts in demand. For many Antiguans and Barbudans, the festival is both cultural pride and livelihood, a way of life that sustains them emotionally and financially. Those who experience Carnival often speak of how it changes their perception of the islands. What begins as curiosity about music and costumes becomes appreciation for unity and discipline. Even for those who do not dance or perform, participation takes many forms: photographing, volunteering, cheering from sidewalks, or helping a friend prepare their outfit. The festival blurs lines between audience and performer. It shows that celebration is not about distance but about involvement, and in Antigua and Barbuda, that involvement is deep, genuine, and contagious. The carnival also connects generations. Elders speak of the old days when calypso was sung from wooden stages and costumes were simpler, while younger participants bring digital creativity and modern sound production to soca and dancehall mixes. Rather than a clash between old and new, this blend creates continuity, ensuring the culture evolves without losing its roots. It's not nostalgia but adaptation, and this is what keeps the event alive year after year. Even visitors sense this balance. They see a modern Caribbean nation that honors its past while embracing its future without pretense. Weather plays its part as well. The carnival season arrives during Antigua and Barbuda's warmest months, with temperatures that encourage light clothing, open-air dancing, and endless outdoor gatherings. The humidity can be challenging for some visitors, but locals adapt easily, using wide hats, water bottles, and shaded stalls for rest. The climate amplifies the festival's energy, pushing people to move, to stay hydrated, to live fully in the moment. It's a test of endurance but also a lesson in living naturally within the environment rather than against it. Tourists arriving for the first time quickly realize that timing matters. Carnival officially ends on the first Tuesday of August, but its effects last long beyond that. Visitors who plan early find better accommodation options and smoother travel, while those who come unprepared often learn to adjust to the island's slower, more flexible pace. Flights connect mainly through V.C. Bird International Airport in Antigua, and from there, travelers reach the main festivities in St. John's easily by taxi or rental car. The journey itself, from quiet airport arrival to vibrant city streets, feels like crossing from routine into celebration. As each event passes, from the steel band competitions to the colorful road march, what stands out most is the unity behind the noise. There is no feeling of artificial tourism packaging. What visitors see is authentic participation. Locals dance not because cameras are watching but because it's what they have always done. The rhythm of Carnival is an inheritance, passed down not by teaching but by doing. Children on the sidewalks imitate adults, waving flags and moving to the beat. Even the smallest gestures, like a grandmother adjusting her granddaughter's headpiece, speak of a living tradition. The island's natural beauty frames the entire event. From the waterfront where cruise ships dock to the narrow streets of St. John's lined with small shops, the setting enhances the atmosphere without overshadowing it. The sea breeze occasionally cuts through the heat, carrying the faint sound of steel pan over the harbor. From higher points in the city, the colorful parade lines look like rivers of movement weaving through the town. This landscape reminds everyone that Antigua and Barbuda's carnival doesn't exist in isolation, it's part of the island's broader beauty. Every visitor leaves with different impressions, but most agree on one thing: the experience is immersive. It's not just about attending an event but about understanding how a small island nation can produce something so vast in feeling and organization. The carnival becomes a mirror through which travelers see not only the Caribbean spirit but also human resilience and creativity in pure form. For Antigua and Barbuda, it's the heartbeat of the year, a time when everything else pauses and life unfolds in full view of the world. And when it ends, silence feels heavy but meaningful. Streets return to normal, stalls disappear, and music quiets, but what remains is memory, the kind that encourages visitors to return and locals to prepare again for the next cycle. The carnival's value lies not just in spectacle but in continuity. Each year, it reaffirms that the people of Antigua and Barbuda are not only celebrating their freedom from the past but also defining their present through shared joy and determination. When the carnival season fades and the noise settles across St. John's, Antigua and Barbuda returns to a quieter rhythm that reveals another side of the country, one defined not by parades and music but by calm beaches, warm hospitality, and a pace of life that feels grounded and welcoming. The same people who were dancing in the streets during Carnival now return to their routines, yet their friendliness remains unchanged. For travelers arriving outside the festival period, there is still a feeling of celebration in the air, though softer and more personal. The Twin Islands retain the same warmth, and what unfolds is an experience that shows how Antigua and Barbuda's character extends far beyond its carnival days, carrying that same spirit of connection into every corner of daily life. Beaches form the heart of this slower experience. Antigua is known for having hundreds of sandy stretches, each with a slightly different mood, while Barbuda, less developed and quieter, offers untouched coastlines that seem endless. The sand here is not exaggeratedly white but softly pale, and the water carries a clarity that makes every swim feel effortless. On days when the sky is calm and the sea still, swimming near Stingray City becomes one of the most remarkable experiences visitors can have. In this shallow area off the coast, gentle stingrays glide past swimmers with a grace that is both peaceful and fascinating. Local guides lead the tours carefully, ensuring safety and respect for the animals, while explaining how the rays have become part of the island's tourism identity without losing their natural behavior. For many visitors, Barbuda feels like a separate discovery altogether. Reached by a short ferry ride or flight from Antigua, this smaller island remains less crowded, with a slower rhythm and a landscape dominated by open beaches and small villages. The famous pink sand beach, with its soft hue that comes from crushed coral mixed with fine grains, stretches for miles without interruption. Locals welcome travelers warmly but without pressure, offering food and stories with quiet pride. The devastation left by past hurricanes is still visible in some areas, but so is the resilience of those who rebuilt their homes and businesses with determination and patience. Spending even a day here gives visitors a sense of the humility and perseverance that define Barbudan life. Food continues to play an essential role in understanding both islands. Beyond the festival atmosphere, Antiguan and Barbudan cuisine is rooted in simplicity and authenticity. Meals are built around locally sourced ingredients, fish caught the same morning, vegetables from small farms, and spices that give depth without excess. Popular dishes such as fungi and pepperpot, saltfish with chop-up, and stewed conch carry flavors that represent centuries of blended heritage. Beachside restaurants serve grilled lobster or snapper with minimal seasoning, letting the natural taste of the sea dominate. For travelers, every meal feels like part of a story, one told not through luxury but through honesty and freshness. The markets are where the island's rhythm feels most alive outside Carnival. In the capital, the Saturday public market fills with locals selling produce, fruits, spices, and handmade crafts. There is no rush, no commercial polish, just the natural exchange between people who know each other. Visitors who walk through often find themselves talking to vendors about life, weather, and family rather than only prices. This sense of everyday interaction captures the country's personality, open, kind, and unpretentious. Even small purchases, such as a packet of dried herbs or a hand-woven basket, feel like connections rather than transactions. Tourism infrastructure across Antigua and Barbuda balances comfort with realism. The islands have a range of accommodations, from large beachfront resorts to guest houses and local inns. Many travelers choose smaller stays run by families who share home-cooked meals and advice about local spots that never appear on travel brochures. These places provide a more grounded perspective on the country, rooms cooled by ceiling fans, meals eaten under verandas, and mornings that begin with the sound of waves instead of artificial background music. For visitors who seek authenticity rather than perfection, this style of accommodation adds depth to their stay, allowing them to experience how locals live rather than how tourists are usually managed. Affordability in Antigua and Barbuda varies, but careful planning allows most travelers to enjoy the islands without unnecessary expense. Public beaches are free, and local eateries offer full meals at modest prices compared to imported hotel menus. Transportation, mainly by taxi or rental car, can be slightly costly, but sharing rides or using local minibuses helps cut costs. Many visitors find that what matters most is not luxury but time spent exploring, talking, and observing without the rush of a fixed itinerary.